What's up, everyone? I hope you've been well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Zach, my wife is Tracy, and we, along with our two Siberian Huskies, are the Sunshine State Vikings. We are Florida-based adventurers who enjoy off-roading, overlanding, camping, and just getting outside on a regular basis for just a bunch of outdoor adventures. We recently got the opportunity, after busting out not one, but both of our taillights, to pick up a set of aftermarket AlphaRex Pro Series jet black taillights, and doing that install there, I was so pleased with the ease of install, fit, finish, and just overall quality that it really got me thinking, and I wanted to pull the trigger on a set of headlights to match as well. Now, reason being is because my headlights are just still the stock 2014 Tacoma, second gen Tacoma headlights, and they are just absolutely sun worn. They are really faded, almost barely useful on the road at night. So I'm really looking forward to replacing those with a set of AlphaRex Nova Series LED projector headlights. They're gonna look great, really accent the look of Loki here. I got these off of a sweet deal from Tacoma Beast from Overland Expo East 2021, and I was really surprised with how fast they got the product to the house here. But enough of that, let's go ahead and grab the box, see what's inside, and just get right into the install. It should be just a quick, easy install and should only use minimal hand tools. So let's just get this knocked out real quick and check them out. That is so much cleaner. I'm excited. Let's grab the other one. Okay, so here is the wire harness that I was looking for. The third gen Tacomas are all plug and play. They just use a bunch of little wire adapters. This is the only thing that's going to be a little intimidating about the install, but I think once we get into it, it's going to be super simple. This is the day running light harness, and this is because on the stock headlights, there's no sequential day runners. This ring around here, around the outside of the new headlight, is a white LED day running light. And the stock Tacoma doesn't have anything like that, so that's to convert it over for these headlights here, which is really one of the biggest parts about the look of the headlights. So there's a little bit of additional wire harness here. It looks like we've got a negative battery lead, positive battery lead. Don't know which one that is, but there's a fuse tap. And then the wires going to both the driver side and passenger side headlights for the day running lights. So I think it's gonna be pretty simple once we get into this. As with any install for anything electrical, we're gonna start with the first step, disconnecting the battery real quick. Just a good rule of thumb. And that's just going to be a 10 mil socket. We're just going to go ahead and disconnect the negative terminal. Now, after removing the negative lead from the battery, we can go ahead and start the removal process. And that's going to begin with the front grille. This is pretty simple. It's two 10mm sockets, and you can also just use a Phillips tipped screwdriver. And then there are two plastic clips attached to the housing of the lights. And these are so simple to remove, you can just use a flat screwdriver or even a knife. I recommend the screwdriver, but it's just pop that top tab and then these pull right out. Then we're gonna be able to start removing the headlights themselves, which is gonna be two more 10mm sockets. And then it is one more 10mm socket down here. And this is where it's gonna be a little tricky because this is actually gonna be behind the bumper. Now, I have an off-road bumper, and this may be one of the differences between you and I, but I don't know if this is gonna help or hurt me because this is a pain to take off. I may be able to reach my hand up there and get that out, but if you have a stock bumper, you're gonna have to detach the bumper and slide that down. It's not too hard of a process, but I don't quite remember how that went. The other thing we're gonna have to remove here is the headlight filler plate. This just pops out and then slides out of a tab to be able to show us the hard plastic clip that once we have everything removed, this headlight is just gonna need to be forcefully pulled straight out of that hard plastic clip, and then the headlight will be removed and we can start disconnecting the bulbs. And now, like I said, it's just the last 10mm bolt right down here. And like I said, this might be easier for me. I'm gonna try to reach my hand down there around my bumper and see if I can get that undone without having to remove my bumper. And look at that. Luckily, I was able to get around my bumper and get that out. But now that the last 10mm bolt is out and the top two are out, I've noticed that this little clip here for the headlight filler plate is going to be in the way of the headlight coming straight out. I think we'll be able to work it around that, but just be mindful of that, not to break that plastic clip. Next thing we've got to get removed here is there's a big plastic clip down here holding in the bottom side of the headlight. We're going to just use a flat tip screwdriver to just kind of work that out of there like that. That's free, and then we can pull it up and over these little plastic tabs just like that, and the headlight can now pull forward like so. Okay, I'm gonna have to start removing the bulbs here. These just twist out counterclockwise. And this last big one is just a plug. And now we can take the headlight out. Just enough access to do so. And that's how you do the removal. I'm going to do that to the other side, and we'll get to figuring out how to install these. And just like that, I've got both my stock headlights pulled out, and we can easily access the stock wiring harness and the old bulbs that plugged into the back of them. Now, for the most part, the AlphaRex headlights are plug and play. Where these backside connectors are, we are going to just disconnect these, and these plugs are what's going to plug into the back of the headlights, and we'll be able to just get rid of our old bulb connector housings. Now, like I said, everything is mostly plug and play, all but this last bit of wiring harness, and this is going to be for those killer day running lights, and this is going to get us to that look that we were hoping to achieve with the headlights. It's a necessary evil, but like I said, this is looks intimidating, but once we get into it, I think you're gonna find it's super simple. And it's just gonna take maybe 10-15 minutes of just some wire cleanup at the end of this. But let's go ahead and start getting this installed so that way we can go ahead and have everything available to us when we start to install the headlights into the truck there. Now we're gonna go ahead and start installing the wiring harness here. We're gonna be dealing with this side here. It's got the positive and negative battery terminal leads and the fuse tap and this yellow plug here. We're going to start with installing the positive and negative leads. Now go ahead and yell at me in the comments below. I know I am due for some sort of electronics manager, but I'm going to say it for the probably maybe the last time. I'm just going to add one more thing and it'll be fine. But do know I know I need to get some sort of electronics manager and free up some of this clutter here. So the negative here is a 10mm socket, and we're just going to land this to the same frame spot here. We actually don't have to remove that all the way. We can slide that in there. Just like that. Even more simple. And then my positive lead here is a 12mm. We're going to go ahead and get that slid up under there as well. Just like that. Next, we're going to be installing the fuse tap, and I've already gone ahead and done this. It's really hard to record this while I'm doing it. It's a bit tricky, and I found it difficult to try to record it. But essentially, what you're going to do is you're going to stuff that fuse tap. Let me show you here real quick. Come on, focus. There we go. Right through the firewall, through this grommet here. It's a big electrical feed-through grommet. And you just find an open spot in the firewall here, and you're just gonna stuff and shove it through there, being real careful not to damage the wire. This is a thin wire, you don't want to be pulling it back. But essentially, and that's just right down there, you just gotta kind of force it through, and where that's gonna pop out is through the firewall of the truck, up underneath the dash here, and behind the parking brake. Now, and again, this is going to be hard to show you, but it'll eventually make its way out up under the parking brake. It'll feed its way down and it'll just be dangling here for you to where you can pull some more slack and all that. And where we're going to route this to is just behind the dash, behind this little coin tray. Now this just comes out, it's just two little plastic clips, and that will come off. And there's a fuse panel back here. We're gonna put that tap right here into that 15 amp slot right there. We're just gonna remove this and plug that other one in, and that fuse tap will be complete. Now that the fuse tap is complete and the positive and negative are tied in, the only thing left is this little yellow plug, which we are going to drop to the driver's side light, as well as the driver's side plug for the driver's side headlight. And then we're gonna route this big long one over to the passenger side light, so we can go ahead and get everything plugged in and installed. And then we'll worry about cleaning everything up. I'll probably do that on my own after we get everything installed. With all of our wiring available here for the passenger side headlight, we can go ahead. We're gonna tuck this back here and start working the new headlight in. Now, if you have an off-road bumper, actually, with hoops here, I do suggest taking your bumper off. It'll make this a lot easier. But I can actually still just manage to shimmy my light in through here. Just like so. And now that it is in there, we're gonna go ahead and start plugging in all of our connectors. So like I said, with everything unplugged, it's all just plug and play. Whatever matches is what's getting plugged in. So this one will find its way into that connector. This one will match up to this one. And then of course the big main headlight plug will just plug in there. It's got a little boot. And then for the day running light, it will find its way to this connector here. Now, this headlight also has the yellow plug, but the yellow plug there's only one and it only reaches the driver's side, so it is going to get plugged in on the driver's side. This is just not going to be used. And then we can start working our headlight into its final resting position. Just like that. And then the last bit here, that big main clip, we're gonna press that in. Now we're just gonna do the same thing for the driver's side with the additional yellow plug. Both headlights are now sitting in their resting place and fully wired up. We are going to go ahead and throw our negative terminal on real quick and test it out, verify that we have done the process correctly. Go ahead and put the truck in ignition and let's see the day running lights. Sweet. All right, headlights? Brights? What about hazards? Nice. Right turn signal? Uh-oh. They're blinking fast. So far, the headlights are looking pretty sweet. I'm not sure about the turn signals. From what I understand, it's a common issue with adding LEDs to a non-LED vehicle. It just kind of confuses the computer. I think there's something like you have to add a resistor somewhere or something like that. But I'm gonna cut to the fix after I've contacted AlphaRex about the fast turning turn signals, just to update you as to what happens with that. But for the most part, everything is working. The headlights, killer. The day running lights are killer. The hazards are working fine, and the turn signals are technically working, just I don't think as they're supposed to. They're supposed to start from the inside and go all the way to the outside just to show you which direction you're turning. But I'm gonna go ahead and mount these all up fully. Go ahead and close or button the truck all up. It's gonna be the reverse process you use to unmount the headlights to just remounting them in, is those 3 10mm bolts and that big clip, and then putting the grill back together. So I'm just gonna time lapse that real quick, and then we will also check these out at night. And there they are at night, real bright. Definitely liking Loki's new look with those new headlights. They're super bright and they are putting out a ton of light on the road. And so here they are from the driver's perspective. They've got a good amount of throw, nothing too crazy, but for what the light does reach, it lights it very well and very clearly. I can easily see everything that is directly in front of me that the headlights are touching. Definitely stoked about Loki's new AlphaRex headlight upgrade. These things have been performing great out here on this dark dirt road. By far, a huge increase to Loki's nighttime lighting performance. And those new daytime running lights just by themselves look so good and are super bright. This is just the day runners by themselves and they're dumping out this much light out onto the ground. They almost perform a little like fog lights, so they do dim a little bit when you turn the lights on. But all in all, super pleased with the headlights and cannot wait to see how they perform out on a trail. How killer are the new headlights? I think they look fantastic. Day, especially at night. They're way brighter than the OEM ones ever could have possibly been, and they look fantastic. This clip here is actually 1 week after the initial install, and I was having the hyperflash issue. This is how quickly I was able to get the issue resolved with both AlphaRex and Tacoma Beast. Now, I did do an install of the solution. However, I've split it off into a smaller little video to be paired with this one, because what I actually found was the information wasn't readily available as to how to go about getting the fix and how to utilize the fix, which was in the form of a resistor module from AlphaRex. So I've split that video off into a separate one so that hopefully I could find people who were just like me that were trying to scour YouTube and the internet to try to see what I needed to do to fix AlphaRex's product here. And it was as simple as getting in contact with them. That was the main thing, and they told me how to go through the process. At the end of the day, it ended up being Tacoma Beast that I had to contact. I didn't have to shell out any extra money to fix this problem, and it was super simple. So let me go ahead and show you the properly working turn signals now that are not hyper flashing, and I'll show you briefly real quick what I had to do to fix this. But if you want to check out that little install video, you can check it out up top, or it'll be in the description below. But at the end of the day, it's fixed now, and I hope that other video is able to help other people who are just like me having a similar issue, because it's such a simple thing and it shouldn't be too complicated. So I'm hoping to be able to help people with that other video. But the weird thing is that it'll still hyper flash if the truck is not on. If it's on, it works perfectly fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn Loki on real quick. Love them, love them. And there you go. The turn signal is now working proper. That's the sequential turn signal. That's the way it's supposed to look. And I'll show you real quick after I turn the truck off how I went about fixing it. We got to take a look behind the headlights here, and you'll see this is the wire harness. It's cleaned up a little bit with some zip ties. Now down here is the resistor module that was sent to me by AlphaRex, sorted out by Tacoma Beast. I didn't have to pay any extra money to receive this from them. It's their product and it's their fix for the hyper flashing, whatever hyper flash you're having. It's a very common issue, and it was super simple. It's just two wires, two little taps, and it gets tapped into the wire harness where the turn signal bulb used to be. Now, real briefly, what you're doing with the resistor module and why we had to install it is we deleted the turn signal bulb. Now, that bulb has a certain amount of load, and with the load missing, the computer on the truck thinks that that bulb is burned out. Now, the day running lights, the new LED ones, they don't draw enough to look like that bulb, so they look burned out to the truck, and it's just a safety feature to rapid flash inside the cab to let you know that your turn signal has burned out and that you need to address that. So it's a super common thing with especially older vehicles that weren't meant to have LED lights, especially on the turn signals. And I think it's case by case. That's why I don't think the headlights came with them initially, but it was really quick and easy to get this sorted out with both Tacoma Beast and AlphaRex. So don't discredit it. It's a great product. They look great. I cannot wait to see these headlights in some of our future videos. But for this video here, the install video, this is going to wrap it up. The install is done. I'm pleased. I hope you found whatever information you're looking for, or I hope you enjoyed our adventure of figuring out how to install the headlights. And as always, I hope you have a great week, and we hope to see you on the next one. To learn more about us and find out ways to help support the adventures, visit our website, Sunshine State Vikings. And to keep up with our adventures, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification button, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sunshine State Vikings.